there, it's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice, looks like psychosis. Life on relationship road, what's going on over there? It's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice, looks like psychosis. We live on relationship road.
Kasia in flat 18 has seen that Molly is working from home today, and so just after 11 o'clock she knocks on the door. "Hi Molly, I was wondering if you have time today for the coffee you mentioned the other day." "Great," says Molly, smiling at Kasia. "Do you want to come in, or would you prefer to meet outside on the grass?" "I really don't mind," says Kasia. "I don't really mix with anyone at the moment, so I doubt that I'm carrying the virus, but whatever makes you feel the most comfortable." "I'm the same," says Molly, "so I guess we could meet inside if you were happy to do so. There's plenty of space in the lounge, so we won't be sitting on top of each other. It's more private, I think. Come in now if you're free, and I'll make us both a drink." Kasia goes inside Molly's flat, and she suspected that it's the mirror image of her own flat across the hall. "Do you rent your flat?" asked Kasia. "No, I'm very lucky that my grandmother helped me out with the deposit, and so I was able to get a mortgage. What about you?" "No, we are renting. We're supposed to be saving up to buy a house back home in Poland, but..." Kasia's voice tailed off, and Molly could see that this was perhaps a touchy subject, so she asked brightly, "Would you like tea, coffee, or hot chocolate?" "Coffee, please," replies Kasia, grateful to change the subject. She already feels that she could talk to Molly, but she would prefer to get to know her a bit first. Over the next 2 hours, the two young women engage in small talk, and they discover that they have quite different tastes in music, but they enjoy similar types of books and films. Most importantly, they seem to be able to chat quite freely about a range of different things. A good foundation to develop a friendship, they both think. Kasia's husband, Pavel, is at work. He is happy that he has his own business, and he is proud of the way that he has kept it going during the lockdown period. His good friend Tom played a big part in helping him with this, and he feels very grateful to him. "Tom," Pavel says just after lunchtime, "I was thinking of going to one of these new socially distanced music gigs that have started up. Do you fancy coming along?" "That'd be great, yes, I'd love to. When are you thinking of?" "There's going to be a mix set in the garden at the barn next Saturday, if you fancy it." "Sure, let me know how much the ticket is." "No, this is on me," replies Pavel. "Consider it a thank you for all the effort you put in during lockdown, helping both me and the business. I don't think I could have survived it half as well without your help and support. You know, I didn't mind." "Sure, what else would I have been doing anyway?" laughs Tom, but he feels really appreciated by this gesture from Pavel. "Will Kasia be coming as well?" asked Tom a little tentatively. "No, I thought we could have a lads' evening out. I doubt that she would like the mix of music that they have planned for the night anyway," responded Pavel, who hadn't even considered asking Kasia to join them. To be honest, he was looking forward to an evening away from the tension that he feels permeates the flat these days. He is pretty sure she won't mind anyway. Connor in number 23 has returned without Caesar, the family dog. His wife Rosa immediately noticed that their little dog is not jumping everywhere and getting under her feet. He is usually so excited when he comes home. "No luck?" she asks Connor, though she can see by his face that he feels defeated. Kira and James, their teenage children, appear in the kitchen looking expectantly at their father. "I'm sorry," says Connor, without waiting for them to question him. He can feel their accusation, even though neither of them have said anything. "I simply can't find him. We might have to accept that he's been taken. You know, there are a lot of dog thieves out there at the moment. I have to take the blame for this." I just didn't stop and think. I really thought that kind of thing wouldn't happen around here." "Who is going to tell Martin?" asks Kira, who at 18 can sometimes seem more mature than her years. "Tell me what?" asks 9-year-old Martin, coming into the kitchen to find out what everyone is talking about. They all look at each other, and then 16-year-old James puts his arms around Martin's shoulders and says, "We think that someone has taken Caesar." "What do you mean?" asks Martin, looking confused. "Taken him where?" "We don't know, that's the problem," responds Rosa, his mother, and she goes on to explain to her son as gently as she can what has happened. Martin, who is a sensitive lad, is beginning to get upset, and so Rosa suggests that he help her to prepare their evening meal. She looks toward the other two for extra help, but as usual they both seem to have disappeared at the slightest hint of work. Later, just as the clearing up is getting underway, they hear the doorbell. This is very unusual, as being fairly new to the street, they don't know that many people, and certainly none that would have come calling to the house. "It's probably just an annoying salesperson of some kind. Ignore it," suggests Rosa. But Connor is more open-minded, and he gets up and goes to the door. He cannot believe his luck when he sees the guy he had met in the wood, and he has little Caesar with him. He racks his brain to try and remember the guy's name. He looks a bit different with his face covering on. "What is it? What is it?" "Brendan, that's it." "Brendan," he says, "I can't believe you found him." "Where on earth was he? I thought we'd lost him for good." Come in, come in. You can tell the whole family if you don't mind, and then I won't have to repeat it 3 or 4 times." Connor ushers an embarrassed Brendan into the house and introduces him to his wife and then to Kira, James and Martin. Rosa makes them all a cup of tea and Brendan removes his face covering. Then Connor tells his part of the story, before asking Brendan to pick up the tale from when they parted company in the woods. And all the while Caesar is being hugged and stroked by the 3 younger members of the family. Caesar is clearly enjoying himself and is none the worse for his adventure. Once the story has been told and questions answered, Connor says, "Well, I don't think we should walk that way to the corner shop for a while. It doesn't seem right to put that poor lady and her husband through the pain that seeing Caesar seems to have caused. I'm glad we have him back safely. But who would have thought that he would have become so famous in this street? I guess it's safer to take him to the woods for the time being," suggests Brendan. "That way Alice won't ever see him and Caesar will still get a good walk." "Well, given that it seems to be me who walks him most days, that won't be a problem," laughs Connor, who is surprised to find that he is really relieved to have the little dog back home. No more moaning about the kids not walking him, he thinks. He's definitely as much my dog as theirs. I hadn't realised just how worried I was about him and how much I was missing him. After another cup of tea, Brendan gets up to leave. Connor suggests that he accompany him on his next walk with Caesar, if he wants to. Brendan is delighted to be asked. He explains that he works for himself as a plumber, and so it would depend on whether he is free, but assuming he is, he would enjoy the company. After all, he only lives next door in the new block of flats. Brendan heads back to his flat feeling so very different from how he did when he had left it earlier that day. For a start, he hasn't thought endlessly about his children as he often does, and he certainly hasn't thought about Laura. This means that he is feeling far less stressed than usual and he has much to reflect on. Brendan makes himself something to eat and he sits down. He finds himself thinking about Paula. He feels a bit uncomfortable as he realises that he is quite attracted to this woman that he has only met once, briefly at that. He has not felt anything like this for a long time. I would be happy to be just friends though, he thinks. What would a woman like that see in me anyway? Then he catches himself. This is the negative self-talk that his therapist has asked him to watch out for. Old habits die hard, he thinks to himself. Connor and Rosa, back in number 23, chat about the events involving Caesar and Rosa comments that Brendan seems like a genuine kind of guy. "Yes, I like him," says Connor. "I've suggested we meet up sometimes to take Caesar for a walk, and he seemed genuinely happy about it. I hope he doesn't think I'm being pushy." "Why would he think that?" asks Rosa, who is often surprised by the lack of self-worth her husband displays at times. "Anyway," she continues, "if we ever do get the chance to go away for a few days, it would be nice to know that we could leave Caesar here and that someone reliable would take him for his regular walk. That's what I miss about our old home. I miss our neighbours, but I expect we will get to know people here as well, given time." Rosa sighs a little. She is finding it quite difficult, as there are no avenues available for her to meet local people. All of the clubs and groups that she was planning to join have all closed due to the coronavirus. She is feeling socially quite cut off. On the plus side, she absolutely loves their new house, and the children love having the extra space and their own rooms. "I'm sure things will work out in the end," she thinks as she loads up the dishwasher once again. Fortunately, Rosa is a naturally optimistic person who is well able to look forward and dream rather than look backwards and cry. Connor finds himself smiling at his wife, and he gives her an affectionate squeeze. "I'm so lucky to have you, Rosa, beside me," he thinks. "She has this way of keeping our whole family afloat, even during difficult times. I feel so very blessed to have her." And with that, he helps her to clear up the kitchen, so that they can both sit down and enjoy what remains of the evening together. If you have something you would like to share, or a concern you would like addressed, please send it in and we will try and incorporate it into the future storylines. Tune in again for the next episode of Relationship Road.
Welcome to Relationship Road, where people live just like me and you, alone or together in all kinds of weather, and most of them are scared of this flu. What's going on over there? It's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice it looks like psychosis. The pressure's starting to show. What kind of neighbor am I? Am I doing my bit for the road? My parents are elderly, my children disorderly, the whole world is suddenly slow. What's going on over there? It's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice it looks like psychosis. The pressure's starting to show. And if you need me, let me know, and I will be the first to show. What's going on over there? It's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice it looks like psychosis. The pressure's starting to show. The future, well, nobody knows, but we'll do our best till then, I suppose. I've got my friends and my family, no place that I'd rather be. I'm learning to go with the flow. What's going on over there? It's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice it looks like psychosis. The pressure's starting to show.